What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing Dunkirk from 2017. My name is Michael Inman and I'm an airman in the United States Air Force. I upload videos on Mondays and Fridays, so if you like military or Air Force content, definitely hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload brand new videos. First, we're going to do a quick recap of the film. Next, some thoughts on the film. And then after that, I'll let you know if I think you should stream it or skip it. So let's get started. What is Dunkirk about? Well, again, it was released in 2017, and it is a film about the Dunkirk evacuation, which happened during World War II between May 27th of 1940 and June 4th of 1940. The story begins with our main character, whose name is Tommy, barely making it alive onto Dunkirk beach. He is seen running through Dunkirk, the city of Dunkirk, and of course the city of Dunkirk is a beach city, so behind the city is the ocean. So of course it has a nice beach that of course is the kind of outer edge of the city. So we see Tommy running through the city, being shot at, and barely makes it to Dunkirk beach, where he of course runs into hundreds of thousands of other Allied troops, all kind of stuck on Dunkirk beach. Now, unfortunately, and he's being shot at by the Germans, by the way, these soldiers are all trapped between the city of Dunkirk, which has been taken over by Germans, so AKA the enemy, and, well, the ocean. So they're kind of trapped. We follow Mr. Tommy through his kind of roughly connected and roughly coherent journey from one ship to another, trying to make it back home. Various ships are being sent to Dunkirk beach to rescue and evacuate all of the Allied troops stuck on that beach. However, I think 3 or 4 ships that Tommy eventually makes it onto gets bombed or shot at from the sky and eventually sinks. So he is in the situation in which he will either drown because he's floating in the ocean, be shot at from the fighter jets in the air because he's floating in the ocean, or will make his way successfully to either a piece of land or onto another boat that will hopefully get him back home. Now that you understand that part of the story, let's tackle the second of 3 stories that are going on at the same time in this film. Not necessarily the same time literally, meaning they can be happening at different points in time, but in this film there are 3 stories. The second story, which is shown in the film, is that of 2 fighter pilots who throughout the film are trying to defend the evacuation vessels. So all these boats trying to get all these Allied troops back to Britain since they're stuck on a French beach and surrounded by enemy troops. All these various vessels are trying to get to them to bring them home. Now a lot of enemy or German, let's say, or Axis powers, but let's assume they're German, a lot of German fighter pilots are shooting down these vessels. So there are 2 Allied fighter pilots who are trying to defend those vessels. So we follow 2 fighter pilots throughout the film trying to defend the vessels, also getting into dogfights and or like skirmishes in the air with the German enemy pilots. And so that's kind of a secondary story that's kind of going on throughout the film. The third story, to wrap it all up in this film, that is also going on, and this is one of those movies that's jumping in between all 3 stories, which intertwined with the other 2, and it's kind of the through line. You would think it'd be Tommy, right? He's kind of the through line, but I would more describe this third story as the through line of the film. And that is of a small British merchant ship and its captain, who takes himself, his son, and another boy who just kind of randomly volunteers to go on a trip to pick up some of these Allied soldiers stuck on the French beach of Dunkirk. We'll call it Dunkirk Beach. And this takes place because there is a nationwide call throughout Britain for all merchant ships, if they are able, to either donate their ship to the Navy or to the military and or make the voyage from Britain to the western coast of France to Dunkirk Beach to try to get any soldiers they can back to Britain. And so pretty much the third story that is shot throughout the film is that story, in which we are following a single merchant ship deciding to go try to get some soldiers and bring them home, and how that goes for them. So the film concludes, now that I've told you that the whole film is bouncing between Tommy trying to get onto ships to get home, those ships being bombed, him having to find another ship, and blah, 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 blah. That's Tommy's story. Then we have the 2 fighter pilots shooting down enemy fighter pilots and or defending ships. And now we have this small vessel. Those are the 3 stories going on throughout the film. How does the film conclude? The film concludes with one of the pilots being shot down, unfortunately, and being saved by the merchant ship that I talked about. Tommy's final vessel that he was, once again, the final vessel he was on, or his second to last vessel, is unfortunately torpedoed by a German U-boat. So we see that take place, and he then, in the nick of time, is saved by the merchant ship. The boy that's not the captain's son, but the random boy who volunteers to go with them, kind of like, sure, what else am I gonna do? Unfortunately, he dies due to an onboard tragedy. Also, the other pilot, because remember, the one pilot, he crash lands and is saved by the merchant ship. The other pilot, unfortunately, runs out of gas and literally kind of crash lands, or really just kind of is forced to land on Dunkirk beach. So he was doing all of this effort to save merchant ships and save military vessels which are trying to leave Dunkirk beach, all to then run out of gas and have himself land on Dunkirk beach and then be taken. Well, he kind of does a white flag and becomes a prisoner of war. So unfortunate, but he did save a lot of lives, so I'm glad he did what he felt he was called to do. Additionally, some other notes for the conclusion of the film is that hundreds of other British merchant vessels help evacuate over 330,000 Allied troops. The merchant ship, which we've been following throughout the film, does make it back home to Britain, and the film concludes with Winston Churchill deeming the whole ordeal as the miracle at Dunkirk, but warns that the nation should not call this a victory because at the end of the day, it was an intelligence and or military strategy failure, huge, one of the biggest ones throughout World War II, which left like what, 400,000 Allied troops pretty much in peril. Without this very low probability of success evacuation effort in which you had to literally call upon the civilian force, the civilians of Britain to help, without that taking place and being successful, it's not a crazy guess that over half, if not over 2/3 of those 400,000 Allied troops would have been murdered by the German forces. So, not a victory, but it was a miracle to get all these individuals home. That is how the film concludes. Let's talk about a few thoughts from the film, which I feel are worth sharing. First, it is worth noting that the situation was quite dire. So, as I've already described, hundreds of thousands of soldiers were trapped between the ocean and the city of Dunkirk, which was crawling with German troops, just trying to kill them off one by one. And it wasn't hard because all they had to do was find a good spot in a building, you know, facing the beach, and just take shots with whoever they wanted to take shots at. So it was a very dire situation. Also, I don't even know if all these troops that were kind of waiting on the beach were even sure that rescue was even coming. So if you are stuck on a beach with your enemy behind you and the ocean in front of you, you're not sure if any help is coming from your homeland, that just really creates a dire situation in which you pretty much only have the option to remain hopeful, because for those who don't remain hopeful that help is coming, that evacuation is coming soon, the situation leads you to pretty much sink into despair. And that's not something that we would want. So you pretty much had to remain hopeful that your country would do what it promised it would do, or at least promised that it would try to do, and that they would succeed in getting you home. The second thought is there is very little dialogue in this film, everyone. It is like, in my opinion, uncomfortably quiet at times, and so you have to be down with a very like little dialogue kind of film. A way that this is compensated is that they have some really, really, you know, dope music. I don't know if you've seen the movie Tenet, but the Tenet film had some really, really dope music in my opinion. And it's the same with this situation, where at moments when you're kind of couldn't they be talking? Couldn't they be saying something? Couldn't we be getting some insights from the character on what's going on? What are they feeling? What are they thinking? The director instead just goes, look at their faces. Listen to the music. Look at their faces, know the situation they're in, and be able to just infer what's going on in their heads. So yeah, in regards to dialogue, you just don't get much of that. The third thought is that though there's little dialogue, the cinematography is crisp, stunning, and captivating. So you do feel like you're right there beside them at certain times. So if you're into that, definitely consider watching Dunkirk. Overall, maybe I wasn't that subtle about it, but I would say skip Dunkirk. Just skip it. One interesting factor for why I think you should skip it is that the trailers really are good enough. Like after watching the entire film and then watching 2 trailers just to make sure I remember kind of the highlights of the film, the trailers were good enough for me. I literally was like, after watching 2 trailers, I said, the music is intense. The main, like some of the coolest shots from the film are in the trailers. There's 2 different trailers, so you're getting that many more cool shots. Really, just watch the 2 trailers and you're fine. But let's get into the why. So it lacks words, which I understand the director was trying to kind of give the vibe of, in this situation in real life, at this point, because the situation was so dire, maybe there wasn't much to say. At this point, you don't know if you're going to live through tomorrow. You don't know if any help is coming. And at that point, since the troops have been, in war for a while, they're probably in that space of what else is there more to say? Let's just sit here on this beach, hoping we don't get shot or bombed and praying that a ship comes to rescue us. But that's that vibe you get where you're just like, I don't have anything else to say. That's where I'm at. I think that's what the director was also trying to make us feel through the limited dialogue. But no, it just felt uncomfortable a little bit at certain times. Like, I just don't know where's the words? Where are the words? Shouldn't you be saying something? I don't know. Why am I watching this film if there's no, context being provided? Even just a little bit more. I don't need a lot of words, but I felt it lacked. Secondly, I feel this movie lacked a clear and coherent plot. There really wasn't much of a plot. It was more just watching Tommy do the same thing over and over, meaning get on a boat, boat is sunk. Get on a boat, boat is sunk. Get on a boat, boat is sunk. And then right at the end, he happens to get saved by this little merchant boat. Next, okay, so you're watching 2 fighter pilots, but there's no real story arc. It's just like, okay, they find some enemy pilots, they get in a little dogfight with them. They do it again. They get in a little dogfight with them. They see a boat, they try to defend it, and then maybe at one point, one gets shot down, the pilot of that lands on the merchant ship. And the other one, yeah, he had more of a story arc because his story arc ends with kind of making another sacrifice of ending on Dunkirk Beach, even though everyone else is trying to leave Dunkirk Beach. So that at least creates some kind of nice arc that leaves you with the, aw. And then if we look at the merchant ship, okay, you left Britain, a little bit of conflict on board, which I won't get into. Okay, you're saving people, but it's still the same thing. You like run into you finally get close enough to Dunkirk Beach where you see a ship that was torpedoed and people are floating in the ocean. Okay, you let some of them on board. You let as many as you can on board. Okay, you run into another ship. You let some of them on board. And then at the end, you let Tommy on board and then you get home. Okay, those are the 3 plot lines. There's no like adventure or story arc that kind of makes sense. It's more just like, okay, this is how some people or all 330,000 people got home through these disparate situations that eventually got some of them home. So overall, skip it, but you do what you want. Finally, the question I have for you guys, would you, if you were a merchant, would you have donated your boat? Would you have actually taken the voyage yourself to try to go save some Allied troops on the French beach? Or would you have tried to avoid all of that? That's kind of the question. What would your choice have been if you were a merchant? Thank you guys so much for watching today's Airman movie review. I hope you have a great weekend and next week. Definitely subscribe, comment, and also if you want to see more of my face, definitely check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Michael A. Inman_. Until next week, see you guys later. Bye.